my name's Kristen. I joined the Fertile Method in, what was it, end of January
Mhm.
time. And honestly, best decision I ever made. I was on birth control for 14 years. I started when I was like 16 because of like really heavy cramps that would like keep me, out of school and heavy flows and stuff. It's crazy because of how much I used to eat sugar and chocolate and bacon, and like I'd be like, I would rather die. Like I just want to eat what I want to eat. And I thought I would never change.
I appreciate you saying that it wasn't like right overnight, and
No.
it doesn't happen like that. Some people feel like a lot of the energy in the beginning and they start to feel good that way, but that's not the end goal, right? We don't want the energy. We want.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like I felt because I was checking in with you a lot. I'm like, oh God, now this is happening. I don't feel this. Like
Yeah.
nothing feels like the standard. Like every other woman's starting to feel good. Like I don't feel any because I've never been like a slow like foggy brain person at all. So
Mhm.
I'm like I can't tell what's changing, and all of a sudden like one day,
One day then it just like lifts, right?
it works. And so like you just gotta trust the program, which
Yeah.
was
And
really
we
great.
say that a lot. Trust the
Yeah,
process.
yeah,
It can be frustrating, but to trust the process for sure.
definitely. So.
So you had gone to the doctors, you started lying to them because you were like, nobody's helping me unless I tell them I've been conceiving for a year.
Mhm.
What was the turning point? Because I'm sure at some point were the doctors mentioning, like, well, we could start to think about IUI or medications. And I know that you are very, not that you're against that if that has to happen, but you really wanted more of a natural approach. So what was the time that, like, where was it for you where you realized, wait, I need to like take a step back and find something else?
Yeah. So it was once I started lying, and they were like, the first meeting they brought up, let's just inject you with metformin or Clomid or whatever, and that was their first idea. And I'm like, that seems extreme. Like, don't you want to understand like where the imbalance is happening? And no interest. They're just like, we'll inject you. You might gain weight. And I was like, and I asked. I was actually talking to a PA, not an MD. So because just there's not that many in my town.
Mhm.
Um, and she was like, I asked her like, what's the stats? Like, what's the success rate? Oh, I don't know. I'm like, "So you're gonna give me something you don't know, And then I had her look it up, and she's like, "Oh, I don't 30%." And I'm like, 30%? Like, I'm a scientist,
That's
so
a pretty big failure rate there, 70%.
yeah. I was like, 30%? Like, that's terrible. And you're injecting me with something that's gonna totally throw me off. Oh, and then I started asking her because once I started learning like the hormone, like, the LH has to spike and then the other things have to drop. And so there's a very delicate system, and you're only gonna increase one thing. And I'm like, well, how does that affect everything else? And she couldn't answer that. And I was like, well, if you're gonna like just increase LH, there's no guarantee with ovulation because progesterone has to drop because they're inversely proportional. And she's didn't know, and I was like, it's not that hard. Like, you have to understand the whole system. And so she couldn't answer my questions, and that scared me. And I was like, I'm not doing this unless it's last approach.
Yeah. And you don't think you were ovulating when you came into the program?
I wasn't. So I bought those like test strips. I got like a
Mhm.
100 pack at Walmart for LH.
Mhm.
And again, at the beginning, I just assumed, LH rises, and like this cycle is very simple and not complex. So I would like, pee on the stick every day, and I never got a positive for months and months and months. And I'm like, what is happening? And so I would like tell the doctors that they were like, oh, it doesn't, like, those test strips, you can't believe them. They don't always trigger. And I'm like, you guys are contradicting like everything. I was just getting really frustrated. And one thing I could tell you, like, so I have a friend who's like a new MD. She's a resident, and she thought I was crazy for doing this
I
program
remember you telling
and
me that.
spending this money. And she's like, there's no way food is going to fix everything. You need the shot. And I'm like, I don't understand. If food can make you so sick, it can make you have diabetes, hypertension, like all of. I'm like, why can't it do the opposite? And
Exactly.
she couldn't answer me, and I was just like, I don't. And she just like, you're crazy for spending money just about food. I'm like, it's not just about food.
Good
There's a
for you for speaking your piece too.
yeah, it was
That's hard.
confusing. Like I'm getting really tired of this system of just like, let's just make, without people having questions and getting gaslighted for questioning the way the system is. And I just got tired of it. So yeah, stand your ground because it's really frustrating. And food makes us alive, so I don't understand why it can't fix us. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's all about, yeah, making sure
Yeah,
that you're
so
getting the right stuff for your body, for your hormone health, for your
yeah,
fertility, your egg quality. I mean, your gut health was impacting your ovulation because of the insulin resistance and your blood sugar instability. That also had to do with your gut health. There were so many pieces of the puzzle that needed to be put together and fixed.
right. And then the funny thing was at the very end after the program, I think I sent you a picture. I'm like, now all I'm getting is positive LHs. I don't understand. And you're like, take a pregnancy test.
I'm like, you're pregnant. You need to take a test.
So I'm like, now I swung way the other way, but nope,
Yeah.
turned out that was a good thing. So
Yeah. So let's segue into that. So, like,
yeah.
what's changed for you since joining the Fertile Method? How was your experience? And tell us about your, your success story.
Yeah, it was pretty recently after the program that I found out I was pregnant. So I am now 27 weeks. Yeah, very exciting. Um, and yeah, it was just amazing. I just kept with the program. Nothing's perfect. If I was at a party or my mom was cooking, there's bread. I ate the bread. No big deal. But I really just tried to keep with it, eat healthy. It was frustrating at times, like, oh, I have to buy an organic, expensive now. Um, just do it. Like, it's fine.
Progress over perfection.
Yeah. So I really just try to stick with that. And it also just became like a little obsession of just like being healthy and eating clean and wanting just to be my best self. And it was very lonely, like, especially once you're done with the program, I felt like, oh, like I don't, this is just kind of, I'm just going to keep going with it. But it's, you always feel like you're kind of in it by yourself, even though you're not.
Right.
It's just like a feeling. And then, one day it happened and it was very surprising. I actually didn't believe it at first. I was like,
I
oh, no.
remember.
Yeah.
You're
And
like, no.
yeah, I got like 3 different brands and they were like very positive. I was like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah. You're like, I'm still going to go to the doctor because this can't be true.
Yeah, it can't be true. Even my partner is like, no, like you have to get like a blood test. And then after that, we're like, no, we got to see it like on the ultrasound. And we're like, oh, so, yeah, very, very surreal, but
Yeah.
amazing.
I love
So
it.
yeah, all I can say is just if you're on the fence, just jump in. Money, you'll get money back. You'll make money again. It's fine. You're only bettering your health.
Yeah. Less than the medication cost of IVF.
Yeah.
We think
Yeah.
other things are so inexpensive and, so worth it. But
Yeah.
so if you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, what would you say?
Mm.
Or
I don't
you
know.
can give
'Cause
advice to any of the women that are watching,
yeah, it's just gonna go back to just
jump in.
jump in because I that's the advice I would have had. Like it was right when I found you guys. I was like, I'm in. And I'm just very proud of myself for taking that leap. So I don't have any regrets there. Learning how to eat, it comes with time. It's frustrating, especially if you have a partner, who always brings home pizza or something, But you just got to think about, every time I like wait it, like baby pizza, baby this, baby that, like it's just a very quick dopamine, kick eating a cookie, and who cares? Like so changing your mindset. I wasn't always very good with the yoga portion and breathing, so I really wish I focused more on that. The infertility journey gave me a lot of anxiety, and I commute to work, so I have like a 40-minute drive, and all I would do is just focus on it and stress and what's wrong with my body. I'm a failure. I'm all this stuff. So I think you should really be kind to yourself, and everything recalibrates, over time. Again, like their slogan, trust the system. It works.
Yeah, trust the process, progress
Mhm.
over perfection. The
Yeah.
good thing about the yoga and the breath work is you always have access to the client portal. So you can go
Mhm.
back in and utilize any of the resources that we've given to you. And, we keep in touch and
Yes.
you're able to check in and see how things are going. But your success story is so amazing. And
Yeah.
I particularly love yours because it was not an easy journey.
Mhm.
And, we all hope that when we jump into something, it's going to be like this fairy tale process, right? Of like, okay, here we go. We're making this transformation. And you had a rocky road, and it just took, your body was so out of balance. It just took
Uh-huh.
a little bit of extra time for you to be able to heal your system. And
Mhm.
once you did, like, you knew the moment it happened, you could feel it.
Yeah.
And I think because you were feeling so good, you almost thought it was like a fluke at that point. You were like, wait a second. And
Exactly.
then, you started to, like, everything took off from there. It was amazing. But you need to really be proud of yourself, because we give you the tools, but you have to do all the hard work behind the scenes. We can give
That's
you
true.
the support and the coaching and Colette
Mhm.
and, give you all the things that you need, but you did all the hard work. So, and you're paying off for it big time. So
Yay, yes,
yeah,
and
so excited. No,
I
when are you due?
I'm due. So the due date is December 31st.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I don't know what year we're gonna have
Yeah.
it. But yeah, maybe you can see like the bump now. Let's
Oh,
see.
yeah. Let me see.
Um,
Oh, yeah. Such a cute little bump. I love it.
Yay! So and it's a girl,
Really
so
awesome.
she's there, and yeah, it's really exciting. One thing I was going to mention, like I still even I don't have that many cravings or anything, and I don't know if it's part of the program here that helped, but I didn't have morning sickness. I didn't have any fatigue, like, or well, I had a little bit, but not anything like what I read. And I don't know if it has to do with just how we prep our body beforehand through your
Yeah.
program, but for me, everything's been very, very easy. And so I just wonder if that's part of just going through your program, really prepping the body. Um, because it's been like super, super easy. I mean, the only thing is like I was like craving bagels, and I only ate them on Saturdays, but I would eat 3, and my body would tell me,
Whoa.
"Yeah, you can't be eating that much bread." um, which is good because now I know, like, all right, just turn it off. Or also like, and I started even during the program too, when my body was recalibrating, like getting yeast infections. Never had that before. That's gross.
Mhm.
And
Body
then
has to get rid of all of that.
yeah, and so even now they still come and go, and I know like, okay, turn off the bread, and everything fixes itself. So I could tell like where my sensitivity level like is, and I know exactly how to fix it now, which is
Yeah.
and
And
it's
your
not
gut was
hard.
impaired for so long
Mhm.
that even in this, I mean, it hasn't even been a year since you started the program. So
Right.
even in this point, you can still reactivate that inflammation, if your body was so impaired for so long. And
Mhm.
we can't take credit for the lack of morning sickness. I think that is
Okay.
individual. I wish I could.
Yeah, I was just curious
That's
because
definitely, what's that?
everything I read is like, you're so run down, you're so this, and I'm like, I still like I hike for my work. I'm up and
Yep.
down mountains, and I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the morning sickness, the energy and the lack of cravings for sure. That has a lot to do
Okay.
with how you've been eating and stabilizing your blood sugar and, detoxing from all the sugar from your system and all of
Mhm.
that. Definitely is helpful. And we always say that this is a lifelong journey. I mean, for us women, we're always subject to hormone issues, right? We go
Mhm.
through getting our cycles, and then when our age of like trying to conceive, and then we go through perimenopause and menopause, and there's just so much research out there about eating for hormone health and being able to get through those different stages of life if we're eating to nourish our system and our hormones appropriately. So
Right.
you're seeing that as throughout your pregnancy, which is great. And
Mhm.
you got the added bonus of no morning sickness. I can't take
Wow.
credit for it though.
Okay.
Wish I could.
That's good to know. But yeah, it's just I just feel really balanced internally, which is just really amazing to feel.
Yeah.
And my gut is not, I'm not hunched over anymore, like, uncomfortable or running to the bathroom. Days are done. I'm like, oh my God, like, if I knew about this sooner, I would have done it sooner.
Yeah. We hear
But
that a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we are so happy for you. I'm so excited that you were able to join me today and share your
Yes.
story with all of the women that are watching. And I know some people are gonna, relate to your story and feel a little bit better about even just instilling a little bit of hope, right? Like you said, this can be a very lonely journey.
Mhm.
And we often think, like, especially when we're younger and we're growing up and we're like, oh, we're just gonna have sex and we're gonna get pregnant and it's gonna be great.
Yes,
And
oh my God.
we're never told about how hard this journey really can be. And so I appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, giving hope to so many other women. And yeah, and I can't wait for that announcement.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
no,
waiting for her to
I'm
arrive.
so excited. Yes, yeah, I will definitely let you know.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ladies, if any of you would like to connect with us, please put in the comment section. Happy to have a conversation with you. And yeah, we'll chat about your individual situations too. But all right, take care. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining me.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.